She joined the team there as the DA in San Francisco. Let's bring in criminal defense attorney Mark Eiglarsh with his thoughts on this case and this development today. Hi, Mark.
How you doing? Nice to see you. Good
to be with you as well. Good to have you with us as well. So, the video is so hard to watch in this case. This man is stabbed and staggers to the door to try to get some help. He's 43 years old, Bob Lee, a tech executive. It turns out this suspect is, according to reports, somebody that he was acquainted with and that they were at a party very late at night. What do you know about this so far, Mark?
First of all, my heart goes out to the Lee family. Obviously, this is a tremendous loss. He was well loved and liked in the community. But one thing that was said during the press conference that I don't know if anybody caught, it was stab wound. It was wound. The reports leading up to this suggested wounds, and you had this image of Mr. Momeni, the accused, stabbing Lee numerous times. That's not what he said. He said wound. It means one. So now the question is, where was that one wound? Was it forward or was it to his back? You know, and what story did he present to law enforcement? Because let me tell you, it's not a whodunit. We know he was involved. The question is why? And if it was at his hand, there's only two possible defenses I can think of. Insanity, which never works and quite frankly doesn't fit because everyone who knew Momeni is saying that he was a nice, pleasant, impressive fella and probably did not suffer from mental illness. Or what I likely will hear is possible self-defense, that he reasonably feared death or great bodily harm from Lee, which is going to be tough to pull off unless Lee somehow possessed a weapon and or there's witnesses who can corroborate that Momeni reasonably feared death or great bodily harm.
You make a great point. And I heard that as well. They said to the chest, a stab wound to the chest, and it may, it may turn out that there were more wounds and that this chief of police is only referring to this one stab wound to the chest. But you're right. It makes the whole thing seem different. This is not a random act that we initially assumed based on so many random acts these days of, a crazed person who ran up and stabbed him. They were in the car together, it appears, and then Bob Lee tried to get out of the car. So if you're working with Mr. Momeni, how are you handling this as a defense attorney right now?
Well, the first thing I do is say, what happened? Tell me. It's confidential. I'm not going to tell anybody. And you get a sense. Clearly, I would expect him to say, I was angered. And the question is, over what? And then why did you fear Mr. Lee, assuming that's where it goes? I'd have to listen to him first. But I do want to say, everyone in San Francisco fortunately can take a sigh and a breath right now that this wasn't some cycle of violence continuing that was painted by many. Again, it's one act between two people, and we'll see what his motive was, hopefully through them subpoenaing his cell phone records to see if there was any communications that support a motive.
Okay. Mark, thank you. Always great to get your take on it as we cover that breaking news in San Francisco. Thank you very much. So we are awaiting a possible update around a potential court appearance for